Welcome everyone. Filet mignon here, your little Aussie poet, coming to you from Medium Rare Poetry. Been doing a bit of gardening lately, and we have mostly succulents and bromeliads, and they have so many spikes and razor sharp leaves that gardening in this little neck of the woods becomes a blood sport. Speaking of blood sports, so can be a president, especially when you're despised by just about everybody around the world. And of course, Donald attended the correspondence dinner for the first time in 9 years, and there was a shooting above, the floor above. So, of course, had to write a poem. So today, I present to you Impact. Impact by Filet mignon. The next distraction attraction was the correspondence dinner. No dietary affair that would perceive Trump getting thinner. For 9 years he had shunned this most amusing form of roast, since Obama with his blazing tongue turned Donald into toast. So why did he decide to grace the press corps with his presence? Had he gained some humour on the road to obsolescence? It all seemed very odd, though. Could it be his dismal polls? His leadership was tanking. He was hopeless at his role. The Epstein files had chained him to his shameless, grubby past. The Persian War had proven the commander was a farce. His allies viewed America as totally erratic, abandoning the madman as a covetous fanatic. The price of gas had bloated and the cost of living soared. His base had all but cancelled him, the man who'd wage no war. His ballroom plans were halted. This new ruin was illegal. His gilding of the White House proved he thought that he was regal. Instead of a comedian, the highlight of the show, he opted for a mentalist. That's not a joke, you know. The self-described magician who the gullible applaud, admired for his hoaxing by the Pharaoh of the fraud. They'd just commenced the entree when a twisted hotel guest decided on a rampage to get grievance off his chest. Shots rang out from one floor up above the gala's room. The Secret Service grabbed the guy and hauled him to his doom. Downstairs was pandemonium, although there was no threat. A bunch of armed responders did appear and formed a net. Donald was oblivious, more focused on his food, a portrait of an orange pig as on his grub he chewed. The Secret Service grabbed the Don to bundle him off stage, his weight so great they dropped him, as his bulk they hadn't gauged. Poor Donald, with his scrotum just as baggy as his suit, had managed to get tangled in his gross low-hanging fruit. Oz, the great magician, used his disappearing trick and fled the stage with J.D. Vance, both vanished in a tick. The dignitaries' wives were left to fend all by themselves. Misogynistic FBI just left them on their shelves. Kash Patel, as leader of this federal cartel, was stunned and stood there frozen as if under Oz's spell. His underlings declared the situation was in hand. Alas, the party was curtailed, festivities were canned. The correspondents funneled out to lodge their news reports, their handbags filled with bottles from their tables just for sport. It was proclaimed in half an hour the call was told to gather for Donald to address the press with post-assassin blather. So there he was, surrounded by his DOJ disciples, extolling how the gunman had near threatened his survival. Regardless of the fact the shooter was a floor above, there really was no need for this, and give the show a shove. Now curiously, the victim read a pre-typewritten speech. Did minders have forewarning, placing Donald in the breach? He made the case to justify the mothballed White House build. A ballroom made of marble would then keep him safe, he trilled. He bragged about his impact as the greatest ever king, and that made him a target by the radical left wing. It's not a bad idea to keep him under house arrest, safe and sound from snipers in his gaudy treasure chest. The shooter left a statement, yes, his manifesto proud. His target was the cabinet, a crooked cockroach crowd. The Trump administration was a smug and selfish cluster of billionaires whose mission was a mercenary muster. They all were branded in the note, excepting Kash Patel. He must have had a soft spot for the Federal Bureau swell. The Popeye has been questioned re his on-the-job sobriety. The FBI will soon be termed a cashless pat society. The whole affair smelt tainted, just like Donald's used a pen. Another planned diversion in a script that had no end. The headlines were refocused on his faux assassination, for concentrated clickbait was the YouTube fascination. But all across the country, gunshots ring out every day. There's no protective ballroom to keep voters from the fray. The POTUS and the SCOTUS have no balls to stop the violence, and Congress is complicit with its overwhelming silence. So life goes on, unless you're shot. There's precious scarce control. The townsfolk watch their leaders push their country down a hole. There's trillions for the military to hold the world to ransom, but nothing left for healthcare, only if you're rich and handsome. There's tax cuts for the wealthy with their private aerodromes, but costs are so prohibitive you'll never buy a home. And Bone Spurs leads his forces from as far away behind. His sons have chosen not to serve, their cowardice enshrined. A hint of truth was uttered to the correspondent corps, that Trump had had an impact like no other gone before. In just 4 seasons he had turned the modern world agin him, and sent his country bankrupt, and he'll never be forgiven. And then he had the nerve to moan he nearly took a bullet. Collectively we roll our eyes, now take a leg and pull it. There's no need for assassins, that would just create a martyr. Soon nature will take care of him, the self-destructive farter. Now, was this event staged? All the conspiracy theorists went mad, saying he hadn't appeared at this dinner for 9 years, and all of a sudden he fronts up, and all of a sudden there's a bloke who's taking pot shots at the pot belly. Well, it wasn't really, because there was miles between the two of them. And of course you can't trust a thing that this administration says, so I jumped on the conspiracy wagon as well. Anyway, I hope you like the poem. Please like, share and subscribe, and press the notification bell so YouTube can let you know when another one's coming. And thank you again for watching, and please take care of yourselves. And it's Filet Mignon saying bye-bye for now.